today's lesson is law of attraction, so I'm going to focus more on that. And I wanted to share with you guys, how I found my passion for the law of attraction. And basically, I want to say I'm 28 now, so about 3 years ago, well, basically all my life, ever since I was younger, ever since like fourth grade, I knew I was different. So, meaning like my sexual orientation. So, I did grow up in a home where it was like my family was religious or Christian based, and so I would go to church. I believe in God wholeheartedly, but I always felt like something was wrong with me. I was lost because one Sunday school or one Sunday morning for the children's church, we went to church every Sunday, and one Sunday morning the lesson was men can't be with men and women can't be with women, or you're going to go to hell. So basically I had this like fear, like all my life up until I was 25, and I'm 28 now. So I had this fear of like, oh my goodness, what's my purpose? Something's wrong with me. I'm cursed. What am I going to do? But I was still always this happy individual, wanting to love everybody. But then I was like, well, what's the purpose of living if I'm going to go to hell anyways, right? So I was always finding answers. I was like, this can't be right. There has to be some way out of this where, God still loves me. I felt God still loved me, but it was like, but the church is telling me, it's abomination. You're going to go to hell, this, that, and the other thing. So I was always looking for answers. Always, 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 because I was like, I'm a good person. This can't happen, or like, there has to be a way out. So I was always looking for like a way out. So my way out was like, okay, Jesus died on the cross for us. So that means he cleared us of our sins. So as long as we're, living sin-free, or whatever that means to everyone, we're fine. We're not going to go to hell. But then when I asked the Sunday school teacher that, I was like, well, if you repent, or if you, whatever their ideal is, to turn away from your sins and all this other stuff, then you could go to heaven, or that was like my way in. And so when they told me to repent and turn away from my sins, that means I had to change who I was. And deep down inside, it was kind of hard to change who I was, because it's like, how can I change who I was if it didn't match with me? So I was still looking for answers. And then age 25 hit, I met Portia. She actually invited me to her spiritual center. And at first I was like, oh, I don't want to go to church. They're going to tell me I'm going to go to hell anyway. Why should I go? I don't want to go. And so we went, and it was a totally different like atmosphere. They don't believe in hell. So like they believe like we're all love, we're all beauty, we're all intelligence, we're a unique emanation basically of God. We're all God in a sense. So I felt powerful. I felt like like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. And in this spiritual center, that's when the law of attraction was introduced. And I was like, oh, so you can have control of your life, basically. And so once I found that key, I was like, okay, I need to find out more about this stuff. And so by the law of attraction, more information started coming to me. I met people who, like Melissa, who's also into this kind of awesome stuff, and connected with her. So the universe was just bringing to me what I wanted to know, which was, the law of attraction book, and actually picking up and reading it, and like, the universe and the power of the universe and the laws of the universe, because just like gravity is a law of the universe, and they teach gravity in schools. Of course, if you jump off a building, you'll fall off. You always go down. You'll never come up. And it's the same with the law of attraction. It's just as real as the law of gravity. So that's how I was able to that's how I was able to find like my passion for the law of attraction. And now I just want to thank you guys, because you guys collectively are, we're all co-creating in this together. The law of attraction brings like people together. So you, me, Melissa, everyone who's on here today, you guys want to, learn something, and you guys know that there's something out there and broader. Your dreams can come true. Your visions can come true. So that's why we're here today, and we're Melissa and I are just ready to just teach this to you guys so that you guys can get the concept too, because it's not an overnight thing. It's really not like something overnight. It's something that you have to practice if you want to be connected with the universe, so that you can be, do, and have all that you want to be, do, and have. And so that's my passion. Do you want to introduce yourself, Melissa?
Really quick, I do, yes.
Okay.
It's so interesting how the law of attraction works, because I didn't even know half of that stuff about Brie, but I already, just listening to her, realized how much we have in common and how this kind of came into my life too in a very similar way. So I grew up Catholic, went to Catholic school, went to Catholic high school. I kind of always felt different as well, because I was brought up in not like a super religious family. Like, religion's always been a very important foundation in my family, but it was kind of more of like a tradition than actual religious practice. Like, my grandma always went to church every day. She prayed every single day over every single saint, over every single person in her life, because her mother was very, very religious. So it kind of stems back for generations for me, because my great grandma was like a religious, like, she was fanatical. Like, there's no other way to put it. She was a Bible thumping fundamentalist, pretty much. So she kind of instilled in my grandma. My grandma's very curious about her intuition, and she kind of instilled in my grandma, it's of the devil. Only God should know the future. Shut it down, basically. So then my grandma kind of raised her kids with that conflict of, like, religion is good, spirituality is good. Don't try to know the future, because you're going to go to hell. So that kind of got passed on to me and my sister, and we kind of, like, we knew at a very young age that we were extremely intuitive, but we didn't really know what it was. And my mom didn't really encourage us to develop it. And then me going to school in the Catholic faith, I'd ask these questions, and I'd get answers like, well, that's just the way it is, and I was trying to find my purpose and, like, why I'm here on this earth at, like, the age of 13. So really young, but I knew that those things were important of why I spiritually was here. So for me, my spirituality developed at a much older age, if that makes sense. When I was 18, I met one of my mentors, who's been my mentor still to this day. She taught me about astrology, about how to read the tarot, about numerology, about all these things that I always was curious about, but was never encouraged to learn about. So I started reading, and I started studying those things and studying things in the metaphysical world at that age. I know I still look 18, but I'm actually 37. So I've been doing this for a while, and I've seen the law of attraction happen many, many times in my life. So I know it's a real thing. And the whole point of Brie and I coming on here tonight is to teach you tools so that you can use it in your favor in your life to get what you want. Because this business does have skills and habits that you can develop, but it's 90% mental. It's 90% your mindset. So if you're not getting the results that you want, if you're not having the people come into your business that you want, this is what I'm talking about. The mental stuff, the emotional stuff, that day-to-day is hard to deal with. This is going to give you the tools to deal with that. So do you want to give your example, Brie? So we're each going to give you guys an example of how there's no other explanation but the law of attraction, how we're going to give you two stories. Like, Brie's going to give you a story, I'm going to give you a story. There's no other explanation other than law of attraction for both of these things to have been possible in our life. So Brie, do you want to start with your story?
Of course. So yes, the law of attraction. It is just a beautiful thing. And I'm sure you guys probably experienced it as well. And you just don't quite know it yet because you didn't really know what it was. But okay, so one of my stories, and this is, I'm gonna tell a story before I started actually kind of like studying Law of Attraction hard, or when it was first introduced to me, I was like, okay, let me try it. Right. And so, and to December 2016, I was in the business, and well, okay. Yeah, it was December 2016, but I started it like September, October, or maybe November, end of October, beginning November. Okay. So I have 4 siblings. I'm the oldest, so it makes 5 of us, but I have 4 younger siblings, and I want to be the coolest big sister ever. So I was like, I wanted to give them for Christmas $100 each. So, you know, everyone's in the business. So in my mind, I had to get 4 distributors and 8 loyal customers. Okay. That was my mind. I was like, okay, that's how I'm going to get my $400. And, you know, people, they tend to say the Christmas season is slow, whatever. I chose not to believe that. And I just kept pushing and working because I was like, that was my strong why. I was like, I cannot stop messaging people until I get 4 distributors and 8 loyal customers so I could fast start qualify them and then get that $400 before Christmas time, right? So time is ticking down. Time's ticking down. It's November. Time is ticking down still. It's December. Okay, oh my goodness. I got maybe one distributor. Okay, good night. I maybe got 1 distributor, okay? And it's like this, probably December 10th. I'm like, and it's kind of like if you put the logic together, I would have to, you know, get those distributors like yesterday or like 2 weeks ago to be able to fast start qualify them and all that. But I was like, no, it's going to happen. I don't care. Even if there's like 7 days left, I was like, these distributors are going to happen. I don't know how they're going to happen, but it's going to happen because I'm going to get this $400. I need this $400. And at the same time, Chad and Jeree, they're my Ambassador Diamond uplines. They were having a Christmas cash giveaway contest. So you had to have so many enrollments. Like you had to have like 1 distributor and 1 customer, and that gives you 1 entry into the $500 cash giveaway. And so, like, I wasn't even thinking about that. I really wasn't. And so I was just like messaging. I don't care about that contest. I'm messaging. And so my upline at the time, she was like, Bree, you know, you have at least 1 entry already. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I still need three more distributors and 6 more customers. I can't deal with that right now. And she was like, Bree, just go ahead and put your entry in. And I was like, I don't have time for that. And then so the last day came. And it was the last day to put entries in. And then, like, someone else said, it's the last day to put entries in. Like, a constant reminder was just kicking me in my face. Like, put your entry in, put your entry in. And I was like, fine, I'll put my entry in. So I put my entry in, right? And so I put my entry in, and then I'm still working. Even if it was like December 20, wait, when did he announce? December 20? I don't know. I don't know when he announced it, but it was probably like, I want to say 5 days before Christmas. He announces the winners. Even on that day, I was still like, I'm messaging, I'm getting distributors, it's happening, I'm getting it. So on that day, when he announced the winners, I was on the freeway, I was driving, and then I get off the freeway, and then I come to a red light, and all of a sudden I see is Portia text saying, babe, you won! And I'm like, what? And I look down at the text messages, and it's like, you won? Oh my God. She's like, you won $500. And I look again, and then I was like, is this real? And I'm trying to, like, you know, not text and drive. So I'm driving, and then, like, I look again, and I get to a red light, I pick up the phone, and it's like, you won $500. Chad picked your name first. And I'm like, I was crying, I was happy, all at the same time. It was just like so many emotions going at once, because like that money, where I thought I was going to get the money through somewhere else, it came through my name being picked out from the Christmas cash giveaway. And instead of it being only $400, it was $500. So that means I was able to give 1, 2, 3, 4 to them, and then keep 100 for me. So I was like, oh my goodness, this was like the best thing ever. And that experience was my, like, law of attraction experience that I've ever experienced, like that major. Like I was like, oh my goodness, law of attraction is real. As long as you believe and you don't doubt, you don't, like, I didn't doubt at all. Even on the last days where I was like, I knew I was going to get FASTSTAR qualified. Like it was just not possible because they come a week later. I was just like, oh my goodness, I got it. And so that was so unexplainable. And I was like, yeah, law of attraction is totally real, because there's no way I could explain that like any other terms. So do you want to just share one? Where did Melissa go?
Right there, Mom.
Okay, so this one's a quick one then. This one's a quick one. And so, okay, this one just happened recently, actually. And this is when I actually know, like, I was reading the book. I just had finished, like, one of the chapters. And then I volunteer at, in Hollywood at a theater. Like, I mean, they pay me under the table, but it's, like, volunteering. And usually the audience members are late. And I'm like, oh my goodness, if they're late, we got to hold the show, or like, I got to walk them in, do the back door. And it's just like, And so before I left, I told Portia, because I just finished reading a chapter, I told Portia, when I go, I'm going to go, it's going to be so smooth. The freeways is going to be clear for me. I'm going to, it's going to be like, I'm going to get there on time, maybe even early. The audience, they're all going to get there on time. I'm going to be able to leave on time because the show's going to start on time. And so that's what I told him. I said it out loud too. And then I just, let it be. I went, I got there on time, showed up early. And then, I do like the check-in, the box office, to check in everybody. And then the stage manager comes and he's like, so how many do we have on the list? And I was like, oh, we have 2 more people left. And he's like, oh, what? And I was like, yeah, 2 more people left. And there's 10 minutes until the show starts. He was like, we actually might start on time tonight. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah, this is a world record. And I'm like, yes. So that means I was able to leave early because those 2 people came like super early, and he was able to start the show early, which is something he's never done because everyone's usually late. And he was like, this is a world record. And I was like, yes. And then right when he said that, I was like, I manifested this. And that was all in that same day. And that was so unexplainable. I went home to Portia and I was like, remember when I told you this and this was going to happen? She's like, yeah, it did. And I was like, oh my goodness, that was the power of the law of attraction, like for real. So, your turn, Melissa.
Okay, I know we're stepping into our time here, so I don't want to take too much time to tell you guys this story, but it's a really quick one. So some of you girls on my team know this story because you saw me go on a Disney cruise. So in 2017, my upline, Carla Burns, she put out a contest to fast start 10 distributors and get 10 fast start bonuses within the months of, I think, May to August, the summer. And she had 3 spots. So she had 3 winners. Whoever did it first had a free spot on the Disney cruise. And this was the very, very first time that her and Denise did a leadership cruise. I'd never been on a Disney cruise. I've always thought it was really cool just to go on a cruise, period. I'd never even been on a cruise. And that day that she announced that contest, I was like, I am going to be on that boat. Like, I don't know how. I don't know who I'm signing up. I don't know who's coming to my business, but I'm going to be on that boat with Denise and Carla. I know it. So I just started getting back into the swing of things because I had just had my baby. Well, I was pregnant and then I had just had her. I had her in August. Can I share what fast start bonuses are? Sure. So in our business, when you enroll, first of all, you have to have your 4 loyal customers because that sets you up to be eligible for a fast start bonus. So that's crucial. And then part 2 of that is anytime in the business you enroll a distributor and they get their first 2 customers and they're commission qualified, you get a $100 bonus. So it's like a teaching bonus. When they get their first 2 customers, you get that bonus. I was competing against people that I knew were going to get on that boat. people that were mass enrollers, people that had no problem signing up 10 distributors in a month. So I knew I was up against some stiff competition, and I actually had a girl on my team that her and I had a falling out, and she actually won the last spot for the cruise. So there was no way in hell or any logical reason that I should have been able to go on that cruise. Because when I texted Carla and I told her, you know, I had the 10 fast starts, 2 fast start, but unfortunately, I had a C-section in the hospital, having my daughter, and I was completely out of it, like on pain medication for a couple days. So I lost a couple of them. I earned, I think, like 6, but I was missing like 4. And I was, you know, kicking myself, but I was like, what was I going to do? I was literally on like pain medication out of it, just having delivered a baby. So I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to make excuses. I was literally like on some really strong medication, didn't even know what day or what time or what was going on. So I said, wasn't my plan. I plan to go. And she's like, I'm sorry, the boat is full. If there is a way that I could get you on, I would, but it's full. We already paid for the spots. It's done. I'm like, ugh. And I was kind of really disappointed and really upset. And then I was like, snap out of it. You can't carry that emotion and manifest things. Stop it right now. So then I started just talking about it like it was already going to happen. And then I was like, you know what? I can't test God's, you know, glory. I'm just going to trust that it's going to come. This is a test of my trust of the universe. So, okay, I'm meeting you at your test. I know you're going to pull through. I'm going to keep positive. I'm going to say positive words. Anytime I have a negative thought, I'm going to reverse it. And lo and behold, what do you know? Maybe like a week or 2 later, Carla tells me the girl that I had a falling out with decided not to go. So I took her spot. And that's how I got on that trip. And that's how I met Taina, who's on this Zoom, and we've become the best of friends since then. And I went on my second Disney cruise in November. So I hope I just blew your guys' mind so that you can realize, and I hope Bree did too with her stories, that this is very possible to work with the universe and to get the results that you want, even if it looks like there's no way it can happen. We're here to tell you that there is. So what are these laws, right? I don't understand them. Probably some of you are thinking, I don't know how it works. How do we make this work in our favor? So Bree's going to go over the 3 fundamental laws that are covered in this book, and she's going to give you a brief description of each one of them so you understand the concepts. And then when she's done doing that, we're going to give you some tools to start using this in your life. Okay, so back to you, Bree.
All right, cool. So since this is a timed, it's going to move kind of fast, but I want you guys to know that you guys can always, YouTube, Google, and search up this stuff yourselves. But this is going to give you, doing this Zoom is going to give you guys like an open door to start exploring and, start, getting connected to the universe and aligning itself up, because all of us on this Zoom, we all have the same things. Basically, we all have a body, a physical body. We all breathe in the same air. We have blood flowing through our veins. We all have a mind, a brain, and we all are vibrating. We are all vibrating, whether y'all could see it or not. And why are you looking at me there? And our thoughts, it's what's doing the vibrating. Our feelings, thoughts, emotions, those things matter, y'all. All right, so up until this point right now, well, we're always creating. Well, up until this point right now, you have created in your past things that may be brought into your present, that you have created in your past, brought into your present. And it can either be a good thing, a bad thing. Whether it's a good thing or bad thing, you have created it, whether you believe it or not. This is called the law of attraction. And this is why it is so important to understand the law of attraction, because whether you understand it or not, it is always working. It is always working. So what Melissa and I want to do is to make sure you guys are using the law of attraction effectively to be able to, achieve your goals, hit those promotions, live out your visions, whatever you have set and planned out for your life or want to have planned out for your life, and live that on. And some people, because they don't know about the law of attraction, they're lost. And that was where I came from, a place of feeling lost, not knowing where my purpose not knowing where I stood on this earth. Like, why would I be the one to, be the weird one to, like the same sex? So see, even that's hard for me to say, because back then I created something where people told me things, and it's not it's my fault, but not my fault, because I didn't know. You're only accountable for what you know. So with the law of attraction, I want you guys to know that you guys can control what your future holds, what it brings. And the great thing about the law of attraction is that you could think a thought, whether it's negative or positive, and there is a buffer time. So you can erase it. You can, like, if you have a bad thought, you can, retract and like roll it back and be like, nope, I don't want that in my experience. So with the law of attraction, what I want you guys to do is know what you guys want. Really know what you guys want. What is that promotion that you guys want to hit? And the process of the law of attraction is write these 3 things down, because it's in the book. I think there's one more, but I didn't get to that chapter yet, but we covered that on a different Zoom. But write these 3 things down, because it'll help you guys get into that process of like being connected with the law of attraction. The first one is the law of attraction itself. So 1, law of attraction. And that's the initial thought, the initial want, the initial, what comes to your brain. And it's said that we think so many thoughts at a time, sometimes you don't know what you're thinking, and you don't know if it's good or bad. And how you can figure that out is through your emotions, the inner being that's within inside of us, the source energy, the spirit, that's within us. And it's always communicating with us. And it's communicating with us through our emotions, how we're feeling. So if we're feeling bad or if we're feeling sad, just know you may be thinking some negative thoughts, and you're probably creating some negative experiences that you don't want to create or have into your experience. So I love the emotions. I was telling Portia the other day that I love the emotions. I love that we have emotions, because that will pinpoint to whether we're creating in a way to where we want to manifest what we want to manifest, or it's telling you, if you're feeling bad, it's telling you that you're creating something that you don't want to manifest. Okay. So when we have control, and this is number 2, this is called the science of deliberate creation. So number 1 is that initial thought where you're actually concentrating or like focusing on like, your next promotion, or maybe you want that car or a house or something like that. You always want to feel positive feelings when you think of those things. So this is one way to screw yourself up too, is to think something that you want, but then feel a negative emotion to it. Because if you think something that you want and you feel a negative emotion to it, it like counterbalances. It's like it like cancels out. Like, you can't do that. You're not allowing it to be. You're not expecting it to become manifested into your experience. So what you want to do is think your promotion, all that you can, whatever your promotion is, that car, house, whatever, that relationship you want to be in, think of that, but make sure you're feeling good. It's bringing you joy. It's bringing you, positive feeling. And if it's bringing you positive feeling, that means positive thoughts are going to start erupting, and like more positive thoughts will make those thoughts expand to where you're now going to allow that experience to come into your presence. And that's number 3. That's called the art of allowing. All right. So these 3 things, they are kind of happening simultaneously, but you want to know, if you can get this book too, because it's amazing. But you want to know that you're on the right track to creating what you want to manifest into your experience. And by the examples that Melissa shared, by examples that I shared, you kind of could get the sense like, okay, you think something that you want, you know it's going to happen because you feel good about it. And you don't let doubt, fear, guilt, or worry in, because like I said, that cancels it out. It doesn't let it flow in your experience. And so when you think that thought, you feel good about that thought, you're flowing through life, and then you allow it to be. That's the art of allowing. You allow it into your experience. And something that could mess up your train, like 1, 2, 3, something that could mess it up is if you think it and you're feeling good, but then maybe like someone messes up your vibe and like you start feeling angry, or like someone tells you, oh, that you can't do that. That's, or they tell you this business is a scam or something, and it gets you and it makes you feel negative emotion. That's going to also stop the manifestation from coming, because it's not allowing. You're not using the third step, which is the art of allowing. So what I'm trying to say is that even if people's opinions, they get to you, I want you to know that their opinions won't affect you if you don't let it affect you. Okay? Don't let it affect you, because as long as you don't let it affect you, you will still allow that promotion, that car, that house, that relationship to come into your experience, so that way you can manifest it. So the key thing here is, for the law of attraction, is to think the thoughts of the stuff you want. If you start thinking of things you do not want, you will still manifest the things that you do not want, because you are thinking of the things that you do not want. Doesn't mean it'll go away. No, it's going to be there. So instead of saying what was one example? Instead of saying like, you got some examples?
That I don't
I don't want to get sick.
Oh yeah, Joe. Instead of being like, oh, I don't feel good, my stomach hurts, you should be saying, thank you for my healing. Thank you, because my stomach feels so good. I'm gonna have a great day today. You say the opposite. This is going to be a game, guys. This is going to be a game, because it's a game to me still. Like, sometimes I got to catch myself. I got to be like, oh, wait, I got to switch it, because I know that's what I do not want. So I got to say what I do want. And so those are the 3 main things. If you guys have questions, we can ask them at the end. But I do want to, because of time, I want Melissa to go over her tools, because this is a practice. And what she's going to explain is the tools that we can use to be able to keep us in that flow of allowing things into our experience that we want in our experience. So take it away, Mamacita.
All right, so you're probably wondering, how do I make things manifest into my life? Like, what are some things that I can do to feel the way that Bree is saying? On a constant basis, day to day, no matter what happens. How can I make my mindset bulletproof? How can I make it happen no matter what obstacles come in the way during the process? So everything Bree said is true and a part of the law. If you say, I don't want blah, 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 the universe does not hear don't want. It just hears blah, blah, blah. And that's what's going to come into your life. So there is a way to reverse it. And like Bree mentioned, buffering, and that's like a whole other topic. Like, we're not going to get into that, because that's like a whole, we can do this again. So if you guys want us to do this again, we can get more into it and more in depth with it. And we're going to give you some tools you can walk away with. You can start practicing it. And if you have questions, we'll take like 10 minutes at the end to do questions. But I just want to get through this. So how do we set ourselves up for success for manifesting things? First and foremost, when you're manifesting something into your life, you have to embody it fully in your body. Your feelings, your emotions, what you see physically in your world is not what you're manifesting. So you have to create that. So if you, let's say, want to go live in a neighborhood that you don't live in, you have to make the time to go to that neighborhood once a month, once a week, whatever, and go pretend like you live in it. Like, go to the coffee shop of where your favorite coffee shop would be if you lived in that neighborhood. You have to physically embody yourself in that manifestation. So like for me, going on this cruise, I was like obsessed with everything Disney. I was like watching Disney movies. I was like trying to find anything Disney to like that was cheap that I could buy, that I could just have at home and look at while I was trying to manifest this. Your like physical body has to align with what your spirit wants. So you have to, we in the physical world, we have hearing, we have sight, we have sound, like we have taste. So we have to embody it physically when we want it spiritually to attract itself to us, right? So here's a way to set yourself up for success. If you don't have a morning routine, you need to implement one tomorrow. Okay, I'm not talking like you need to put like 3 hours of your day away before you even get started doing anything. No, this can take 10 minutes. It can take 30 minutes, an hour, however much time you have, but you need to make it a priority. If you're trying to manifest things into your life, you have to be still and you have to be quiet and you have to get in alignment with your inner being, your inner self, your spirit, whatever you want to call it, every single day when you're manifesting something. Okay, couple practices that you can have in the morning that are good daily routines is you can wake up and exercise. Automatically moving your body, you're not thinking anymore. You're just in your body and you're moving. And I've got to tell you, when I'm exercising, I get the best ideas ever. And they're not my ideas. They are me in alignment with my spirit. It didn't come from me. I don't know where it came from. That's because I'm not in my mind. I'm moving my body. So exercise, important. If you don't exercise and that's something that maybe you can't do, journaling, super important. Go get yourself a really nice journal and a nice pen. First thing when you wake up, do not look at your phone. Go find a quiet room, go find a quiet space, lock yourself in the bathroom if you have to hide from your family. I don't care. There's no excuse why you can't do this. Get a pen and start dumping out everything that's coming into your mind. Okay? Because that's called mind chatter. Those like little thoughts that you have in the morning, like, oh shit, I have to do this. I have to do the laundry today. I have to go get my car washed. I have to cook dinner. I have to out. You got to get in the habit of getting that out so that you can focus. Where your focus is, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to attract. So you have to keep your focus on what you want and not this other stuff that we see throughout our day. So some people, they have a hard time with mind chatter and they don't know how to get rid of it. So that's a good practice, is just getting a journal, writing out everything that you think. Okay. And then, by the way, I wrote down completely different stuff. I'm just going with my gut here and delivering what I think you guys need to hear. The other thing is that you have to do affirmations. So find some mantras, find some words that resonate with what you want, okay? And if you're having trouble with that and you can't quite find the words for it, send a message to me or to Bree and say, like, this is what I want, but I don't know how quite to put it into words that are positive, that are going to make me feel good, that I'm going to remember to say throughout my day, right? So like Bree gave the example of, you feel a cold coming on and you're saying, oh, I feel sick. And then what happens? You get the cold. You want to reverse that. Well, what would you say instead? Well, Bree said, I don't remember, you said something about my healing.
Thank you for my healing, my health and whole well-being.
So that resonates with her. That makes her feel good. So that's going to work for her. I wouldn't pick those words because like I just said, I didn't even remember what she said, because that touches her heart and that's what resonates with her. I would say something like more along the lines of, there's no right or wrong way to do this, you guys. So I'm just giving you examples so you can understand that. I would say, thank you for my body. Thank you for my health. That's what I would say to myself, to keep myself healthy and not get the cold or the flu or whatever's going around. So mantras are really important. Journaling, moving your body. Okay. Another thing that I want to bring up is meditation. People don't understand how to, they think that you can only do it one certain way and that's it. And if I can't sit in my chair in silence with my legs in the lotus position with my head up and my palms up, I'm doing it wrong. No, there's lots of different ways to meditate. Personally, I think If you're trying to do that in silence for 10 or 20 minutes and you've never meditated before, you're setting yourself up for failure because you still haven't learned how to quiet your mind first and release the thoughts and release the images of your prior day before you can do that. So, baby steps of meditation is go get yourself a meditation CD. Go on YouTube and find some guided meditations that are, you can start even with 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. That's good. Those are some good training wheels. Tony Robbins has an excellent 10-minute gratitude exercise. That's a great way to start meditating if you've never done it before. It's 10 minutes, and he takes you through gratitude throughout your entire life. And by the end of the 10 minutes, you're like sobbing because your heart is so full of joy and so full of so much gratitude. You have to be grateful and joyous for the things in your life that you have now before the universe will ever deliver more. So if you're finding that you're having a hard time with that right now, like things are maybe not so great right now, or maybe you're in a place where you're not, comfortable, or, maybe you used to make more money in the past and now you're making less and it makes you feel crappy about yourself, things like of that nature, you need to start with gratitude and joy every day before you talk to a soul. Okay, you're doing this. Another really great example of meditation, which if you're really into music, this will work for you, is chanting. So I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Buddhism or Buddha or any of those practices. This is a practice. This has nothing to do with religion, okay? It's a practice. Get yourself a singing bowl. You can get them on Amazon. And let me just show you the sound it makes, and you'll understand why it works well. So it's called a singing bowl because you can make the sound louder and louder. But when you hit it, that's all you can hear. So if you just focus on that sound and you hit this like every couple seconds, you're automatically going to tune stuff out of your mind of whatever you're thinking. It's like such a soothing sound. So you can come up with chants to go with that or words that resonate with you. And then you can go get yourself little, these are called prayer beads. You can find them probably on Amazon. And if you're doing chanting, like actual sentences that you're saying over and over again, this keeps track of them for you. So you just count them while you're saying them, so you're not sitting there thinking, oh, what number am I on? You're just moving along. Okay, so if you're raised Catholic like me, it's like the rosary. It's like doing the rosary, and you go to the next bead, and you go to the next bead. It's so powerful. I guarantee that if you're doing that, whatever it is that you want is gonna come into your life. I'm getting the chills right now. If you want more love in your life or a new relationship in your life, this is how you do it. This is an excellent tool. Okay. How are we doing on time? Okay. Bree, you've got like 4 more minutes, and then let's take some questions.
What my thing was it prayer? Okay, okay, guys, I don't know, like, now that I've understood this law of attraction and being connected spiritually, I don't really have, my religion to me is spiritual, and to me, my religion's law of attraction, like, because I feel like every single one of us has this law with us and can use it. So I live this, but prayer is crucial, crucial, but there's weak ways to pray and like strong, like powerful, empowering ways to pray. And just to start off, because when it comes to prayer, like, people pray different, but I just want to make sure you guys add this little piece to your prayers. Is just thank you so much, and just what I say is thank you 3 times. Thank you, and that could be a simple prayer like that. And saying thank you is just, you're giving. Well, me, I give like my gratitude of my here and now. When you guys pray, I don't want you guys to be like, oh, God, help me. No, it's more like, God, show me the way, or whatever you believe in, show me the way, open the doors up for me and allow me to, serve and be of service to you. Okay, I think am I going about this all wrong? I don't want to
No, there's no right or wrong ways to pray.
Yeah, no, there is, if it's coming from a weak place, if you're coming from like lack or selfishness, if you're feeling like, just not good, there's a weakness to it, because then you could be attracting like more of the weak, lack, and all that stuff. So I want you guys to just always come from a place of gratitude and thanksgiving, because that's where it's going to stem from. That's where all your treasures and all the things that you want is going to stem from that gratitude. And just a little bit of gratitude could take you a long way. And always start with a grateful heart. And that's all I want to say about prayer. If we do a different Zoom, we could get deeper. But another thing I want to add is I learned this from Michael Bernard Beckwith. He's our reverend at the Agape International Spiritual Center. And what he says, whether it's good or bad, is how can it get any better than this? If a glass breaks, if you break a glass, how can it get any better than this? Because you know what the universe is going to give you? Something better. And even if it's something better, like you get on the cruise, how can it get any better than this? And then what the universe is going to do is show you much better. So whether it's good or bad, the question, how can it get any better than this? Universe is going to show you the better. And if you guys haven't watched The Secret, I do advise you guys to watch The Secret, because it does give you guys some input and insights on the law of attraction. And Michael Bernard Beckwith, he's actually in that law of attraction as well. So that's all I got to say, because I know it's 10 minutes till.
I know, this went by way faster than I thought.
We just had to
figure out how we're going to rearrange this after. Wait, because we're planning to put in like a whole 10-minute exercise. I don't know how we're going to do that. We'll figure it out for Wednesday. So thank you guys for being so patient with us, for being so open, and having your hearts open and listening to us. I hope this helped you. I hope this gave you guys some clarity on maybe how the law of attraction has already been working in your life, or how you can make it work more in your favor. So I'm going to open up the last 9 minutes we have here together for any questions you guys have. So if you have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself, and we'll go ahead and answer to the best of our ability.
So I don't necessarily have a question, but it's something that my mom actually taught me, which was when you are going for a specific goal, if you tell yourself, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am whatever rank you're going for. If you're going for Ruby, like, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am Ruby. And that's your mantra that you would repeat to yourself all the time, because it's just bringing Ruby closer and closer and closer. And the more you say it, the more it's coming to you. So that's all I want to say. So whatever rank you're going for, presidential, black diamond, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am.
Yes.
So.
Sure. Oh, you have to unmute yourself, Felicia. Oh, she's talking.
There it goes.
There you go. Okay.
Right. Hi, it's me. I just wanted to say that Bree was correct in the power of 3. I was taught in another group to write things or pray things in 3 times. Or when you write things, write it 3 times. And that should help also. And the one with the meditation, even breathing is important. Just breathing in all the way to your stomach and blowing it up, breathing in as slowly as you can and breathe out as slowly as you can, because sometimes that just calms you down. So some people tend to like hyperventilate or hold their breath when they're talking, and they keep going and they don't stop. So that is another one. So I know a lot of all this stuff has happened in my life, always in my life. So I've always stayed a positive person, and good always comes my way. So I just know that those moments where I'm down, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's it.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions? No, y'all are experts. You don't have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I
Okay.
have a concern or a question. But so my family is super religious. And so for me, when I've talked about the law of attraction with them or my family, I'm always like, think the opposite or say this or say that. They think I'm crazy and they're like, but you know, in Christian believing, you're not supposed to believe in any power besides God. So for me, I just see it like God is that power. I don't know if that's right way or the wrong way of doing it, but that's just the way, and it's always worked for me. So what is your guys' like opinion on that?
Personally, my opinion is that this is a spiritual practice. It has nothing to do with religion or whatever religion you practice. And that I'm just telling you my personal belief that we are all, this is our birthright. Just like our intuition is our birthright. It is, we are all magical manifestors. If you don't believe me, everything that's in your life right now, you have manifested it to one degree or another. And I don't care if you're going to tell me that you haven't, you have. I don't need to meet you or know what's going on in your life. I know that this is a fact and that we are co-creators with God. So if you're not tapping into this, you're missing out because you already are. You just don't know how to control it, or maybe we gave you some insight on how to make it better in your life, but it's already happening to you. So why not make it work in your favor? Does that answer your question?
And I feel like, just to add to it, I feel like whether religions know it or not, there's some of their teachings has the law of attraction in it, like ask, believe, receive. That's like one of them. Like that's like basically the law of attraction, ask, believe, receive. And so I've heard that in Christian, and some of the law of attractions when I'm studying it, I'm like, hey, I learned this in church, but they never dug deeper. They always were pointing the finger, judging, and trying to control who does what and who has to love who and how you do this and what clothes you got to wear, all this kinds of stuff. So it's like blind, like the law of attraction is like, it's like kind of foggy, and it's like for people, well, it was foggy for me until I discovered it. But yeah.
I think, Kimberly, did you have a question? No? I thought I saw you saying something, but you're muted. No? You have a question? No? Okay. Anybody else? Still have a couple minutes.
Any thoughts or comments?
Or has anyone ever felt like they experienced it, the law of attraction?
Blowing your minds right now, so you like don't have any questions.
Well, I just needed to add that, you know, in religion, it doesn't matter what religion you are, wherever you come from, how you were raised. Realize there are bad people even though they spew religion. So it's a matter of using your intuition to know the difference between the good and the bad in people, period. Because I've had that all my life also. I was raised Catholic also, and so there's certain things that I used to question all the time with the nuns, and they were like, oh, no, that's okay, that's not what this is about. They would push me aside. So, and not that they were evil, but there's always, like Bree was saying, it's like, Bree, you're talking Italian, I'm with you on this one. It's sort of a brainwashing because they want you to behave. Sometimes it's not intended to be that way, but it comes out that way. And it's to rewrite all the good stuff they handed down to us to make a positive attitude out of it. Because we get, they want us to be good, they want us, and they try their best, but we know ourselves. You have to learn to trust yourself. Your first gut instinct is the best thing. Don't let the brain take over. It's in your gut. You know it. Your body knows it. Your soul knows it. So one has to learn to differentiate between that. I pray to God every night, every morning, while I'm driving, anywhere I am. I'm always thanking and being grateful for whatever I see. Even if it's a beautiful bird pass by my window, I'm like, oh my God, thank you. That was a nice little reflection there. So it's little things like that, and it's staying positive always. I have tons of stuff that always falls into my lap that's negative, and it's like, I like Brie because I realized I didn't know that I was doing that till you said it. It was like, flip it over. But then again, I'd be on to this other group that did the same thing. If somebody says something negative, say something positive in their place. So there's a lot of similarities everywhere. It doesn't matter what culture, what religion it is. It's to respect it. Plain and simple, respect it and have plenty of gratitude.